You may get Jill.
Sure.
Okay.
Do we want to do that now?
Let's wait.
Wait for sure.
We might as well go ahead and get Jill
Yes.
taken care of since she's waiting.
Oh, no, you're fine. I saw your papers.
Hello, how are you?
I'm just fantastic. How about you guys?
Hanging in there.
Fantastic. All right. Okay, so the reason that I'm here today is I'm not asking you for money, which is great.
All right.
Which is great.
Bring in money.
I know. Yeah. So I applied last month for the Patterson Family Foundation. They had a rural EMS grant that you could ask up to $200,000 for your project. I didn't have one set project, but I did ask for about $173,000 worth of stuff, and they awarded the entire thing.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. And so I did print out my application and stuff just so you guys can you can have this. But it was just basically my grant application. And in there, it has kind of the things that I asked for in it. I'll just give you just the rundown real quick. One of the things that I asked for was a new striker power load and gurney stretcher for the new ambulance that we're getting for Bird City. That was something that we had not accounted for. We had the funds to pay for it if we needed to, but I asked for that, so we got that awarded in the amount of a little over $65,000.
$65,000
Yeah.
for that gurney?
Yes, and the power load, everything that loads into it, yes.
Yeah, all right.
And then we also needed to get a new Zoll monitor for that new ambulance, so they awarded that in the amount of a little over $46,000, almost $47,000. Another thing that I asked for, which I'm like super excited about, is this Ambu Man advanced mannequin. It was awarded to us for almost $13,000, but I think there's kind of a training gap for us. You know, there's a lot of things that we don't see. Unfortunately, I think we're seeing them now, but we need to be trained and be able to respond to those things just like services that see it on a daily basis. And so being able to have this Ambu Man, it's an automated mannequin, and it has like 80 different programmable scenarios in it. It has real-time feedback of everything. It has 3 I/O ports, one in the arm, one in the knee, and one in the ankle, and it gives feedback too. For those, it actually has veins and arteries, so you can see if you're in the right spot and the return on that too. I'm just super excited about that, so if you guys see me driving around with somebody in my vehicle that looks weird, it's probably him.
Put a hat.
I know. I just like literally, I am just so excited, and all of our crew is just so excited about this too. We do plan to maybe do some sort of sharing thing with the hospital for training. They have an OB mannequin that we often use, so we thought we could use that for cross training and other things too to help support each other. Another thing that I asked for was a Zoll AED3 trainer. I teach CPR. A lot of people are migrating to the new Zoll AED3s, and I don't have one. And so when I go to do people's training, I'm like, can I look at your Zoll before we get started? And I know how to use them, but I would like to be able to bring the same thing to my trainings as what people are getting. So they awarded that too for a little over $800. We have bulletproof vests that we've had for years that we got through a grant. For some reason, we didn't get the helmets, and I feel like that's probably a very important piece of the puzzle. So they did award us 8 ballistic helmets to go with that. I also asked for Stop the Bleed class for kits. I asked for about 200 of those. I'm a Stop the Bleed instructor, and I offered in my grant to be able to teach that for free in our communities, entire county, I don't even care, for free to get people, you know, the training they need, the supplies they need. I really want to focus on teachers at the school. You know, we always talk about active shooter events. I want to make sure that I have people trained that those people can do the same job as I can before I can get there. I want to get farmers. I want to get anybody who is in a position that, you know, need to have tourniquets and be able to have that kind of training. So as soon as I get the funds for this, I am going to start advertising for that. I did ask for additional unknown expenses of $5,000, which they did give me also. So this has just been an absolute blessing. I literally, when I submitted this grant, I told Leslie, I kind of hesitated because when I started going through my list of like needs and wants, I realized like what a great service we have, what a great county we have. Like I don't have to be concerned about things like I think other services do. But I didn't want our county to get the short end of the stick either. If people are giving away free money, I want to get in line. And so these were all things that were, of course, going to be a pretty good expense for us for the new ambulance. So I think maybe some of that $5,000 may have to go to being able to install that new Stryker gurney and stuff when we get it. But another thing that I asked for was mental health for EMS. And that is something that is like very important to me.
It is.
I think that it has fallen through the cracks, and I think I really risk losing a lot of people because of it. I think that's on the fire department, dispatch, law enforcement. I think we're all kind of to a point, and it's not just us, it's society. I think everybody's just getting kind of to a point of, struggle. And I want to be able to breach that any way I can. So I asked for $15,000 to start some sort of fund, which Dawn has already set up an account for me to move that into it. I talked to she and Sarissa both about, I don't really want, I need oversight for this. And I don't necessarily want to be the one who knows these people are getting help. Because at some point in time, they're going to think, if I know, I might take them off the schedule. I might take their radio. They're not fit to be out there. And that's the wrong thing. They're doing the right thing. I think if I can cut down the financial burden to our people for this, but I also need to set it up that it's not for like somebody to get through their divorce or something like that. It's something that affects you directly on something that we're subjecting them to. But we will have some stipulations, and once I get that in place, I will run that through you guys just to make sure you guys are okay with that. But I think that is absolutely going to be phenomenal. I did talk to Jessica Matthews also. She said at the foundation we can actually set that up in a fund that we can actually make money on it. She said that currently if you set up something like that with them, they'll give you $2,000 more. And so I'm kind of leaning toward maybe doing something like that. She said it'll also give us the opportunity that people can donate to it. And I think it's a good thing that people know that, everybody struggles. Sometimes we're just subjected to a little bit more that sometimes we can't even handle. So I think that's going to be fantastic. I do. The other thing too is that we have kind of held off on hosting our EMT class, but we are going to start it up in January. So I asked for $5,000 for meals and supplies on that. One thing that I have found that the Board of EMS has grants so people can apply for those, then they're supposed to have like a year's worth of service with us to kind of pay that back, and which is great. But I think if we can provide some of the testing fees and some of those other things that it's like $150 with the state right now just to apply. So if we could maybe cut down some of those things. When I was an EMT, one of the things that they gave us when we signed those craft grants was a good stethoscope and a blood pressure cuff. Those are things that a lot of people, even getting into EMS, have no idea how to use those. And so I think that, maybe being able to provide more things for these people in the classes, they'll know how much we want to retain them.
Right.
That we have a real true interest in, not just them being a service to us, but, both ways. So, yeah, anyway, the transfer for the money, I did print it out this morning. It's supposed to be distributed today in the amount of $173,000, and it did go into the county treasurer fund. So, yeah, that's my spiel. I don't really have anything else. I was going to tell you, I will have quite a few bills coming through kind of here at the end of the year, and it's our preventative maintenance for our Zolls, our Stryker gurneys, all of that stuff. I did get myself certified to be able to do the updates in the stuff our IV monitors, so we don't have to send those off or have a cost involved with that. So, but I will have those coming through, you know, kind of here at the end of the year. But other than that, that's really all I have. So.
Congratulations. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
So-
Oh, I'll tell you what, the minute I read that email, I literally almost fell out of my desk. And then within like probably 30 minutes, I already had my thank you note wrote and in the mail. I expected to maybe get one thing out of that, maybe. But to fund the entire thing, I was just like, absolutely a blessing to, I think, all of us.
Yes.
So,
I think you've done a great job with that, and
thank
for your
you.
hard work.
Thank you.
That's
Yeah.
stuff that's very important.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. The other thing is too, is that I think at some point in time, I'll probably have to replace the monitor in our 7A ambulance. And nothing is really wrong with it, except for we've had it for quite some time. The CRAFT grant with the Board of EMS this year requires a 25% match. I did write this stuff down, but I want to say the cost of the Zoll was like the $48,000. But the state will only match up to $20,000 of that. But I did talk to Lori, who's our salesperson for Zoll, and they'll give us credit for the trade-in for that Zoll. So I would like to apply for that. I believe the application for that starts at the first of the year. But I am going to plan on applying for that just to get some financial help there. And then I'll hit up the foundations every chance I get. So, yeah, that's all I have.
Well, thank you. Have a
Yes,
good holiday.
absolutely. You guys too. Thank you so much.
That's great, isn't it?
It is awesome.
I think, I know Brian's here, let me see.
She was so excited to see.
Oh,
Oh, she
it's-
is, oh, she
That's
is.
You've
so
got to get in
neat.
front of the commissioners and tell them about this. This
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Everybody's excited about getting in
Yeah.
front of this table.
She came with me and she
Of
just.
course, Eddie.
Hi, Brian.
Well, good morning.
Hello, morning.
This is Jeremy, just with Blue Cross Blue Shields.
Brett.
Here to
Nice to
answer
meet you.
some questions and. William.
Roger.
Guys.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
You already told me good morning.
I know,
Hi,
I know.
Jeremy, nice to meet you.
Good morning.
Sure is.
Good.
Awesome.
I'm the deputy, I'm the elected. So, I'm here.
There you go.
All right.
No, you're good.
All right, let me get a couple things passed out to everybody. I brought packets for everybody. And I got some supplemental handouts I just want to give to you guys too. It's something as we go through this discussion, that they'll come into play. They're not a specific order as far as where we're gonna get into this discussion, but I'll give you guys these two. I'm afraid today's gonna be a little longer than my normal visit of 10 to 15 minutes for quarterlies, but let me see if I have one.
I can make another copy.
No, you're okay.
Here, I can
You're
go make
okay.
another copy.
It's
It's
okay.
okay.
I
Are you
brought-
sure?
Yeah, yeah.
I brought it for him.
No, we're good.
We're good. I brought it for him. All right, and then I got one more here too. Just a supplemental.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'll explain what these are that I'm handing out here when we get around to it. Sure something. Jeremy? Okay. All right, well, thanks for having me back and having Jeremy and I give you guys your guys' renewal for this year. So a few changes I think that are gonna be worth discussion, and Jeremy's gonna be a great person to kind of explain perhaps parts of that. So I thought we could just kind of jump right into it if you guys are ready. So if we return to the renewal page, of which we're quite accustomed to, so page number 2 of the packet. Page number 2. All right. So what we're seeing with the renewal, remember we, of course, we're with Blue Cross right now, but we shop it out. We look at all sorts of different groups, United Healthcare and so forth. That's what our job is for you guys. So in so doing, we kind of found that Blue Cross still remains the best option for us. And if you look in column number 2, down at the bottom, that's our renewal rate increase for this year, 21.28%. So there's a lot that factors into that. There's, it's definitely above what we would normally see, kind of an annualized rate increase. I was going to hope that Jeremy can maybe explain kind of why we're seeing that right now and see if you guys had any follow-up questions. What we're going to do after that is, and then I'm going to kind of walk you through what we're going to be proposing to you guys is how we're going to kind of limit that 21% shock in kind of utilizing our reserves, of which we've been building up quite efficiently over the years. So I think what we do now, let's have Jeremy just kind of give just a quick little explanation of why we're seeing that 21% increase.
All right, Brian, appreciate it. I will start off by saying, I know it's not ideal and it stinks. It's not official Blue Cross lingo, but that's Jeremy Maguire lingo. I could use some other language, but we're in session, so I don't want to bring that up. So when we look at that, like, what in the heck, 21.26%? What kind of options does that present to the group? So with your group size, you are what we call small group or bar group, which again, you're like, what does that mean? And ACA, which is Affordable Care Act, meaning it is rates are based on the age of the members that are covered. So older members going to cost more, younger members are going to cost less, and it's the same coverage. So it is based solely on age. Our non-grandfathered pool, like pretty much about every pool, has been taken some significant increases on costs, and especially on the prescription drug end of things. So that's where we're seeing a lot of increases. I don't say that to think, oh, that's going to make it feel better, because I know it doesn't. All right, so I don't want to sugarcoat that at all. So we looked at a option called level funded. I don't know if that's something that, because Hadley, I think, had presented to you guys in the past, and I think I met with you a few years ago, but it's been a while. Now I'm full-time in this position, so you'll get to see my ugly mug next year too. But we looked at a program called Level Funded that is fully underwritten. So what that means, your current plan, it doesn't matter what health conditions anybody has, they are automatically covered under due to the Affordable Care Act. With the level funded plan, when I say they underwrite it, they look at, we took your census of everybody that's covered under your plan and submitted it to look at health conditions of everybody that's covered under the plan. And it came back denied due to excessive risk. It doesn't tell us any specifics. I don't get due to type 2 diabetes, or due to a cancer diagnosis, or due to hemophiliac, or anything like that. I don't get that information simply because it would be a HIPAA violation. So with that, our only option would be this rating plan, which again I know doesn't feel any better. And that's the Cliff Notes version on that. What kind of questions do you guys have on that? If none, if while Brian's going through, something comes up, I'm right here to say, hey, I thought of that. Ask it. That's what we're here for.
What I'd like to do is just kind of explain something. Julie's office had kind of put together kind of a different tact on kind of addressing the 21% increase and making it a little bit more palatable for us. If you guys wouldn't mind just going to this supplemental guide right here, that would be that one right there, the top one right there, Roger. So as you guys know, as we've talked in the past, we basically, have the two cards, right? So we're contributing funds to Blue Cross Blue Shield, if you want to look at it that way, and then we're always contributing to the reserve funding, right?
I got a question.
Yeah, Brett.
Okay, so when I take the family premium times 12, that's $27,279.48. And then I add if a family has something wrong, I add the $14,200 deductible. I'm actually coming up with $41,479.48 is how much the average person is going to pay before Blue Cross pays anything. That just seems horrible to me. I'm sorry. So I took the family, $2,273.29 times 12. Then I took the deductible for the family, which is $14,200, and added them together. I guess as a healthcare provider, it just stinks, the situation. It's not your guys' fault, but you guys understand where I'm coming from.
Oh, absolutely.
So I've talked to Blue Cross before, and they told me, we're trying to lower premiums. I'm like, really? So anyway, that's, I just.
And I understand, Brett, I understand.
Somebody's getting rich, is what I'm saying.
So I understand the frustration.
With our county money.
Yeah, right, and it comes from somewhere, it doesn't come off of a money tree in the back.
Exactly.
I understand that, it comes from your taxpayers.
Yeah, and we answer the questions to the taxpayers.
Yep, absolutely you do.
I want to know why we're seeing a 21.26 increase, where normally we might see a 7 to 8% increase per
Right.
year. So.
I'll just give you a personal example for myself of somebody
Okay.
that I know. And I can't say that is specific to your group, but it's based off on the utilization throughout the entire state that are on these plans. So I have a group that is that's on this type of a plan. One of my buddies works for one of these groups.
Okay.
His wife just got diagnosed with a condition. He didn't tell me what it was. I didn't ask. It wasn't any of my business. And he says, yeah, we just filled the drug. And he goes, I got my EOB back on it. Do you know how much that drug cost? And I go, I have no idea. He goes $18,000. And that's just one. I mean, and that's this end, all right? But it's not unusual to see several hundred, a few $1,000s on like a Humira prescription that's $5,000. So
Right.
not to lessen the effect that it has on you all, because
Right.
I'm not doing that. I don't want to do
What's
that.
a general trend, and you've got.
It's a general.
I understand
It's a
that.
general trend, and it stinks.
So,
And it stinks. And I've asked some of our upper management when they start talking about affordability. I asked them, I go, have you sat in front of a group and presented them with rates that if the individual had to pay for it themselves, it was completely not affordable?
well,
So I understand, but.
well, you're exactly right. I've got patients that will come to me because they don't want to go down the street, and they need to go down the street. And because they've got the high deductibles, they've got the high premiums, they're like, and it is just, anyway.
Yeah,
It's
and
not your guys' fault, it started with Obama, so I understand that.
And these like this high deductible plan without the underwriting that
Wouldn't be
Freedom
doable
Claims
for a lot of
does
people.
Yeah.
is a catastrophic only plan.
Mm-hmm.
The high, you could get a 30, if there's like a 3,300 maybe, and a 5,100 maybe might not be considered quite so much, but $7,100 is catastrophic.
Yeah.
If something catastrophic happens, I know I've got this cap on it.
Yeah.
So I do understand.
Peace of mind.
That. And you see it, more than I do because you're in the field, right?
Yes.
And
Well,
you're
I
invested in your community.
I wanted to ask that question because it just seems to me like, but some of the diabetes medications are very, very expensive too, so I understand that. So I'm asking the question, not directly pointed at you guys. I need, anyway, okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm
No, it's a
sorry.
fair, excellent
It's
point,
a, it's a
Brad.
fair question.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was interesting, I was talking to Julie kind of before we were getting all this stuff together, and she has one of her clients where they got a 200% increase. 200, yeah. It was 200 and something, if I'm not mistaken.
and that was one of the underwritten plans. Some of the background of that one is they had a baby that was premature and life flighted and NICU'd for months. And
Yeah.
which, as a parent, like,
Yeah,
I can't imagine that. My kids have all been healthy, minus my son is making a stupid mistake and breaking his ankle at sophomore year in high school, and that's it.
right.
That's,
Well, you guys, what
Sorry.
I'd like to do, and Brad, I completely agree
Well,
with your sentiment and so forth.
When we're doing budgets, we have to account for all this stuff, and I don't know that we accounted for a 21.26 increase, so that's kind of spooky with me as well.
Let me walk you guys through what we're advocating here,
Okay.
okay? We're gonna soften it a little bit here. So if you guys go to this page right here, that we're all currently at right there. As you guys know, we're going down this path.
I
You
get
got-
in your way, I'm sorry.
no, you're
We-
okay. Put your
we-
stuff where you need it. I'll-
Because of the two-card system, which is actually gonna work out better for us now that we have these reserves built up. You guys know we put a pot of money towards Blue Cross Blue Shield, we put a chunk of money towards reserves, okay? What we're advocating is we continue with the same funding reserves as 2024, which is up here in this corner up here, okay? Based on the numbers of that reserve funding, the money, the same amount of money will be going to the reserves, which will allow us to put more money towards the Blue Cross Blue Shield pot of money, if you will, which will then lower ours down to 14.21%, which is this number right here. Okay, so now that brings up a question. So we're not funding our reserves at that increase like we normally have. Are we putting ourselves in jeopardy for some type of, catastrophe, okay? So let me walk you guys through this very last column over here, okay? Very last column. So if we were to take all of our reserves, we take costs and expenses, percent of savings, our current bank balance, and the max liability, we take all those things together. And what that is calculating also is that we're keep putting in the same reserves as we did in 2024 for 2025, we will have a 92.6% coverage. Okay, so that means is if everybody on the plan, everybody maxed out on everything, what would be the total liability for the county? Is right now, with that funding, 2025, we'd be at 92.6%. And the reason I bring that up is that if we're at 100%, that means everything could fall to pieces and we have the money to cover everything, which is actually very good at 92%. So I just wanted to alleviate if we're gonna move some of our money, not move the money currently in reserves, we're just not gonna, we're gonna keep funding it at the same level as we did last year, right? More money goes to Blue Cross Blue Shield, drops to 21%, down to 14.21%, okay?
That's the
So
same amount of
we've
money.
prepaid for the increase is what you're saying.
Right, yeah,
So what
exactly.
happens next year when that's depleted?
Well, and Brian might have the numbers on this, but again, I'm not,
So the 7.94%, is that gonna be the county's responsibility? Because 92.06 minus 100 is 7.94% difference. Is that how that works?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
okay.
correct.
I just wanna make sure I'm on the same page.
Yeah, and we like to, matter of fact, I talked to Julie last night, and she likes to have those numbers, and Jeremy, jump in if my numbers are a little off.
Yeah.
But, 70, 80% is actually a good number that, not that we want to maintain, we want to try to be at 100%. But we'd be doing quite well at 92% at the end of 2025. So I wanted to bring up one more thing, with everything being considered. So we're gonna keep the reserve funding the same as 2024. We're gonna increase the funding to the Blue Cross Blue Shield, which drops that down to 14.21%. So the question is like, what's gonna happen next year? What have we historically seen in the past? And I want you guys to bring up this this second amendment page that I have for you right here. So we did a history of all the percentages, and I found this very, very interesting when we did this. We've been working for you guys since 2015, okay, so 10 years. And so what we did is we calculated all the numbers by the decreases and the increases, okay? And then if you were to average those out for the years, I don't have 2024, guys, I had to handwrite it in here. 2024, if you want to write it in there, it's 12.26%. Yeah, it was hot off the press and I didn't have that available. Sorry. Okay, so if we were to average all those increases and decreases over the 10-year period, it's a 6.39% increase for that time period. So we've had some years we've done quite well. I mean, we look at, for example, look at 2023, we're at a 1.78 increase, right? So if we kind of look at that a little more digestible, I suppose, if we can look at that as 6.39, I mean, trend is 12 to 18% per year. So just that's kind of the industry, how you kind of look at it in that sense. So hoping to throw this into the history just to say that for the last 10 years, we're doing pretty good at 6.39%. So,
And Brett, to speak on your question on the being 92.06% funded, you know, that 7.94%.
Is a small number when you're
Is a
talking-
small number, and the likelihood of even getting close. Well, it would, I mean, it would take everybody covered under the plan to hit maximum,
That's
that
right.
maximum liability to touch. And if that happens, we have a lot more things to worry about in
That's
the
right.
community than, which and I'm not downplaying that, but we don't want
Because that is scary.
another pandemic. Is this real
So-
wood?
No, but we can call it.
Oh, wait, this-
Your chair is.
there we go, we got wood.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's metal.
We
but
might
the
want to
chair is
move on
wood.
at this point. If that's okay with you guys.
Yes.
So you guys, that's where we are with the renewal numbers. We're basically, because we've done such an outstanding job of building up our reserves. I don't know if you guys remember me coming in last year, and remember our reserve numbers, our bank balance was under 100,000. Do you guys remember that? And I kind of talked about maybe that's something we need to at least keep an eye on. And then you look at our bank balance right now, that's this next page right here. It's also reflected on that supplemental I just showed you guys too, the bank balance. So this reserve is going to come in really into play this year when we have a 21% increase, is it allows us that flexibility to reduce our overall cost. So that's what that page is right there. It's just something I give you guys every quarter, kind of just showing kind of where we are with the numbers as far as our bank balance goes. May I go on, or is there any questions up to this point? Okay, excellent. The next one is our dental, and there's two numbers, you guys, I've circled them here on my page that you need to look at, the upper right and the lower left, right here. So our dental plan is self-funded. So the upper right shows that when we first got this started, when we're gonna do the dental plan, that's what the rates were coming in at. So $15.99 for a single, $36.69 $59.71 for a family. If you go down to the lower right, you can see kind of how those numbers are playing out now. But remember the upper right, that goes way back. So we're still doing quite well. You guys can always adjust those numbers, but remember that comes out of the county to adjust that, right? Being self-funded the way it is. So I just wanted to kind of throw those numbers out there for you guys. And that has stayed pretty static as far as the trend goes. Just my estimation for years, we've just kind of seen it kind of move in that direction. So that is the dental plan. The next whole bunch of pages here, you guys, this is the top benefits by location, top providers. We've seen this report many times. This is just kind of where we're looking at going into the actual renewal itself. Looking where the money's going, what are the top providers, always wanted to keep things as local as possible. that type of thing. That's our light reading if we're having a difficult time.
Weight loss drugs would,
Are they specialty or are they?
they're specialty.
Good.
Any questions on top providers? Okay. You guys onto the Surview. This is a page we always look at. You can skip over the first one and just go to the one with the pie charts on it. You guys see that one?
Yeah, I'm just looking at everything.
No, Brett, I'm
Gotcha.
sorry. If
No,
I'm
no,
going
you're
too
fine.
fast, I
No.
apologize.
I usually go too fast, so I'll keep up, don't worry.
Oh yeah, you put the brakes on me anytime. You guys remember during quarterlies, we always look at the pie chart here, and we're just looking for proper distribution for generic versus name brand, and we're doing fantastic. We're talking 95% generic. And that is outstanding, because that, obviously that ties in directly to costs, as we've been talking about with lots of different drugs that are out there. The more we can bend towards generic, the better off we're gonna be. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, so the next two pages are just a quick little summary of our medical and our dental benefits. And Jeremy wanted to chime in to something very quick on this page right here, talking about some mental health issues that I think is very important.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I was aware this week of a tragedy in your guys' community, and I can't imagine how heavy that feels on you all, because I know from what I could tell that young man was very well liked and loved, and I am sorry that you guys are having to deal with that as a community. And I would imagine it reaches out into your employee base and spouses and dependents. So I wanted to bring up the fact that if they're covered under the county plan, there is mental health coverage that is available.
Through this plan.
Through this
Yes.
plan.
It's listed there really.
So, yeah, if you look, it's a $50
It's about halfway down.
office visit copay for mental health. That goes for whether it is a in-person or if it is a virtual visit. So I wanted to bring that up, not only for people that are dealing with the loss of this young man, but also for those that are dealing with other issues that are completely separate from that. That it is there, it is available, and I'll get on a soapbox for a second, that we need to stop sweeping it under the rug, because that doesn't solve anything. I know, I grew up in the day where suck it up, buttercup, dust yourself off and go.
Put dirt on it and go.
Put dirt on it and go, but that doesn't fix it, that just covers it. So, I just wanted to bring that up, and I wanted to address it because I know your community is hurting right now, so. But I will get back off my soapbox now. If you have questions on it, please let me know. But if it's something that, put out, hey, just a reminder that this is available through our health plan.
Thank you. I don't think everybody
So-
knows that.
So I
It is
think,
important.
I mean, it's important at any time, but especially deal with the recent circumstances, so, but.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Any questions up to this point? On to, let's see, any questions on the dental side? Anything? Okay. All right, fantastic. Vision care, if you read the first letter there, basically there's no increase. So we got some good news from the vision side, so. Just first page right here, just saying that there's no increase to the plan itself. And the next couple of pages just go over, the up of the materials and lenses and that type of stuff that we've always kind of take a look at. But no additional increase for vision. Any questions about vision? Okay. All right, so the next few pages deal with life insurance, $20,000 life insurance, just kind of going through that 2025 rate information, no change. So same thing, okay? It's these next three pages right here. You guys let me know if you have any other questions. And if you guys have questions I can't answer, Jeremy can't answer, I'll get in touch with Julie's office and get an answer back right away to you guys. So anything that pops up, you all just let me know. Okay, so.
When you say life insurance, that's on all the employees?
Yes.
I didn't know we had one.
Yep. Yep, that's what this is referring to, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's with AICK or Advance, which I represent as well, and, you know, we have, delivered some checks. I just got one yesterday for one of my groups, and it's just, again, you just never know when something's gonna happen. And
Right.
having a little coverage, why it's not gonna make somebody rich. You know, you guys as a group can deliver that to the surviving members of the family and help at least ease some of the financial pain that they're dealing with, so.
Because there's a whole last section right here, it starts with the red one. Julie just wanted me to add this in there. This is if you guys are interested in any type of flexible spending accounts and that type of thing. Julie can manage it. There is a fee for doing such. But she just wanted me to add that information in there in case somebody, wanted to move down that path. So that's what that's all talking about. So all of the last pages go into HSAs, flexible spending accounts, and that type of thing. Supplemental information.
Gotcha.
All right, so, any questions on the renewal, kind of how we're feeling about things and so forth? I mean, obviously with consternation, understood.
What kind of increase did we have in '24?
12.26. Yeah, sorry about that, Roger. I kind of blurted it out, but I didn't make it very clear. 12.26 in 2024.
Now we're gonna be at 14.
14.21, that's an adjusted number from really 21%, because we're just not gonna be funding reserves with the increase. We're gonna stick with 2024 funding.
This one right here. This shows the updated rate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's fine. No. I'm sure Brett only does not if they agree.
How's everything going in Denver?
We got a fair amount of snow, but I think you guys got more than we did.
I think we had like 4.
Yeah, I don't know, and all this so
Now
fast.
Ray had 2 foot. There was a line.
Ray had 2 foot?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
heard
there was
that.
a line, we were just on the
And
rain
then
side of things.
Somebody had 3 foot. Was that like Lamar?
I think Lyman had a bunch too, but
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
There was a line, just like the state line. It was.
Is that right? It was?
We got good moisture.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's sometimes
That would
better.
be great for the winter week.
Without all the other stuff, yeah.
Really
For sure.
Yeah, because we got at least 6 out there on the state line on the Kansas side. If not more, but it was so slushy.
There's no bottom to the road sometimes.
No.
That's
Made
great,
it
that's
fun.
great snowball snow though.
There you go.
Yeah.
There was a lot of snowmen built that day.
Yeah, for sure.
Do they need to make a motion if they agree to go through with this, Leslie? Okay.
Make a motion to do what?
To approve the Freedom Claims
And Blue Cross renewal?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the Freedom Claims
And Blue Cross renewal.
and Blue Cross.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve Freedom Claims and Blue Cross renewal. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, where does he need to sign?
Just, print, sign, title, date.
Come on.
I try not to bring so much paper for you guys, but it's the nature of where we are nowadays.
Right.
It's for light reading.
You I can pull up what it looked like last
That would be
year.
perfect.
Very good, Jay.
Thank you.
Thank you very
You
much.
bet.
I will.
How's your son doing?
It's doing good. The cancer's, he went for another PET scan and it's
That's
good to go.
awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
It's
good.
pretty amazing,
It
so.
is.
Now he's trying to get into dental school
Yeah,
to see
he
if
got
that happens.
23, you said, that's
Yeah,
good.
yep. So
Dental
we'll,
school, all right.
you have such a good memory. Dang.
Well, I'm sorry, I shouldn't.
No, no,
show
no.
that.
No, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
You're letting the cat out of the bag.
I know.
What?
Awesome. Yep.
Good answer. Good answer.
Up here. We need some new young dentists.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, thank you for a magnificent 10 years. I mean, of all things. So it's been a great relationship
You
and
guys have saved us money, so.
Of course.
we just really appreciate you guys.
And
And
Appreciate the good job you guys do.
thank you.
Bear
Thank
with me,
you.
I do speak
How
my
soon do you need
mind.
this?
I'm right there with you. I am not.
I visited Great Bend for the first
Let me,
time. I
let me
flew in
pull
there.
up.
Oh, did you?
It's gotta be the same.
Is it really? I've never been there.
We're all from there.
My mom is in Smith Center.
Perfect.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a little bit different, so,
okay.
Smith Center's a good town. That's
Oh,
my
I
hometown.
was gonna say.
Oh,
Don't hold it against me. We've had some good football games
Lizzie,
with
this
you
was
all.
plan
We just-
administrator.
yeah, Smith Center's only had a
representative.
few
Am I okay
good
to sign
football
this or
teams
does
over the
Brett need to
years,
sign?
so.
This is just the payroll census form for Blue Cross Blue Shield to get this going.
That's your-
Ask her.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I think Scott signed it last
Yeah.
year, so is he no longer with you?
He's not here today.
Gotcha, understood. So here's, should be yes, yes, no. And then this was 2 years ago, it was 45.
We're close to that.
Then a
Good with that.
ballpark. Then yes and yes. And then,
Well, I will see you guys, probably in April.
and then that's your.
Everything going according to plan. Sharissa's gonna kind of take the lead on the employee meetings, and she says it's easier for her sometimes just to go ahead and just do it, so. But if she needs me to come out, I'll be out next month, to see everybody, but she says she has a good handle on that,
We'll need
but,
to do it. When do you
yeah.
officially take?
January.
And let's pull in to see who we have listed in our systems for. I have Scott listed on everything. But we could have Brad sign it, we'll be fine.
Okay.
And if anybody feels it. And here's the tax.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it in there. Are you good if I write it in there?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Most groups do.
Okay.
That is a doctor's signature. My signature, I think people can read the J for the first name and the M for the last name, and everything else is
Just verifying the tax ID number.
fairly.
And
Just the initial.
No, I need to just, there's the top page for that one.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Brad. We'll get this going. Do you want me to put
Chair.
chairman in the?
Yeah.
I'll send these to Julie as soon as we get them processed back and get
There you
off.
go.
That sounds good.
Perfect, thank you. I'm gonna go get Dawn. Brian's up, or, yeah.
Okay.
Are we all good? Yeah. Okay.
We're seeing you again.
See you again. We'll see you guys again. Thank you.
See you again.
All righty,
Stay warm.
thank
It's
you.
29 degrees in my car when I hopped in this morning, so.
I'm guessing, right? I don't know what year that'll be, but.
The wind wasn't blowing too much, so.
See you later, Brett.
Have a good week. Have a good holiday, guys.
Yeah, you guys too. Happy Thanksgiving.
We'll get you.
Moving right along now.
How about flipped off my chair?
Yep, I'll bore you for a couple minutes and get this taken care of.
Thank you.
Yeah, but they have questions for you.
Oh, boy.
I have another copy.
Not sure how many answers I have.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah. Is Dawn coming or?
Yeah, she's on the phone, so.
Okay.
I don't know how long she's gonna be.
What's that?
I say I do have some extras in the basket if anybody needs one.
So if you got questions or concerns, I guess you can shoot stuff for me. Might wait on Dawn here a couple minutes.
Do you want to ask them about the recycling?
Yeah, sure. You want to ask me what
Yeah, we were talking, we had some monies that were, I don't know, I'd say we sold out the recycling. And we got something, I believe it was like 92,000. And we were talking,
Kind of splitting it up between the cities.
splitting it up between the two cities. How does that work?
You could do it. There'd be no reason you couldn't. Pretty much, because we've had a couple counties that had the same deal, because it was where you're in an agreement and the agreement ended, they refunded the money. Was that what it was?
Well,
Well, they sold off the stuff and,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
they dissolved.
Yep, so my understanding, boy, that's worked where I've seen it is that it pretty much was at the discretion of whatever the commissioners wanted to do with that money. So, yeah, however you guys wanted to handle it, I think would be fine, and no reason you couldn't distribute it out however you guys want to, as far as I know.
And then, didn't you want to redirect all income to the cities from the sale of the recyclables?
Yes, I think that, we'll need a motion on that, correct?
do what now?
Do we need a motion on that, then tell me?
Yeah, you're gonna have to do a motion on that sort of transfer.
Yep.
And then furthermore, make another motion in regards to any sort of recyclable income shall go directly to the cities to fund the programs. Because the cities are doing it.
Yep.
Let's wait on the motion. We can do that later.
Okay.
Just for the fact that we need to decide the percentages that we're gonna do.
Right.
So let's do this at a later meeting.
Okay.
There's no big hurry on it.
Okay.
Yep, sounds good to me, so. Yeah, so we got the audit finished up for 2023, had it done, pretty much done back when we were working on the budget earlier this summer, and finally got back and finished up the last few things I needed to do and got it done. From our end, there's no, I guess, concerns that we felt need addressed directly or any issues that needed addressed. It's a clean audit, and we found no significant issues with anything that we looked at, and any of the controls or any of the personnel issues or anything like that. Really, compared to a few years ago, it's really smooth, and Don's been doing great with getting all that stuff. There's still been some quirky stuff I know that's popped up in the last year to two still that kind of related back to 3 or 4 years ago, and I think she's gotten most of that stuff figured out as far as some NRP stuff and different things like that. And so anyway, but other than that, been a nice clean audit and didn't have any issues that I'm aware of. So if you guys have any, I guess, specific questions on the financial side, or we can look at the summary statement there. It's a few pages in on page 4, and that shows all the different funds and the receipts and expenditures and cash balances for all the different funds. With the insurance increases and that kind of stuff, you guys do have, pretty significant carryover balance still in the general fund to have a cushion for stuff like that comes up, at least in the, immediate future. So not gonna have an issue running out of cash or anything in the general fund. I don't foresee. So that's good. So it looked like, at the end of 23, you had $4 million basically in the ending cash in the general fund. And then, has some pretty good balances still in the equipment reserve, had $2,369,000 in there. Multi-year capital improvement had $577,000 there. So you do have quite a bit of cushion in all the different funds there, and so quite a bit different than it was several years ago where things were pretty tight. But yeah, should be in pretty decent shape for going forward, hopefully. Think probably ought to mention most of the notes don't change too much year to year. I think the only.
Hey, Brian, where do we pull our insurance premiums out of? Is that out of the general?
Yep. And you can see, I was just glancing at that while you guys were talking to them. It's on page 20 is the general fund. It's got all the different employee benefits. It looked like for 2023, the health insurance was $818,560.
Know where we were sitting, because we just got news. It's gone up
Yep,
21%.
yep. Looked like had 921,000 budgeted in 2023 for us here. A little over 100,000 under budget in 23 for that. And I know John always tries to build a increase into that every year on the budget, and I don't know exactly what the number is for 25. I didn't look at that, but hopefully, but like I said, with the carryover cash, even if you're going over that line item in the budget, you should still have plenty of cash in the general fund to cover whatever increase there is, so.
I just don't like, because sometimes there's not gonna be.
Yep, and that's the thing, you gotta plan for with the budget and everything, because we've had different places that, don't wanna raise taxes, but the stuff keeps creeping up, and then, like you said, a couple unexpected things, next thing you know, you're out of money, and that's not a good situation to be in, because you can't just go borrow it from anywhere, and.
It's our job.
Yeah. So. Actually, the increases they were talking about, it's probably about the lowest of anybody I've heard from as far as counties and cities, I think. So, heard anywhere from 30-some% on up.
I know.
It's just not sustainable long-term for sure for anybody. So, and then as far as, I probably should mention, there were, I think, 2 funds that actually were over budget a little bit. One was, the bridge building fund.
What page are you on, I'm sorry?
Page 15, sorry, should have mentioned that. And on the bridge building fund, it just wasn't budgeted. There was like $38 left in that fund, and it just got transferred out to zero the fund out, basically. So that's, just has to be written up. It's not a big deal. Then on the, looks like Special Parks and Rec, it's 4660 is budgeted, 10,000 spent. I do not remember off the top of my head what that was. I'm sure it's something you guys approved to pay out of that Special Parks and Rec.
Oh, back then, I don't know what you paid. I know you did tap at one time, but was that this year or last year?
It was this year.
Pretty sure. Did you?
I remember looking at it, but I do not remember off the top of my head what it was.
Veterans Memorial?
What's that?
The flag holders and
Yeah,
and
there
the
was
deal up
something,
here?
maybe.
Maybe the dog park? and-
I think it was something related with parks, I think for sure. So, I mean, I remember looking at it and it was allowable expenditure to come out of that fund and where you guys approved it.
Veteran deal on the dog park up there, I think is where it was.
I think that.
What was, the old swimming pool deal?
That was this year.
What's this shit?
I think it's the veterans team. I think.
So, anyway, and all the rest of the funds
Money in that
were
account.
well under budget,
How
so.
much money's in that
I thought
account?
we had enough in there to do that.
Yep, you had enough
did.
money,
Yeah, there
just,
was enough money.
just
it's
not enough budget. The budget wasn't high enough, but you had enough cash to
Oh,
pay for
okay.
it, so.
Yeah.
Just one of those deals that is what it is and not concerning to me. Yeah, like general fund is almost $1.5 million under budget, so. See if there's anything else really special I wanted to mention. Yeah, feel free to look through it, and if anything sticks out or you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Don, did you have a direct question for us? No? Okay.
Yeah, she always does.
Yeah, I just email them.
They're not always the best. Sometimes they actually make me think, and not always the easiest ones either. I'm like, dang it.
I'm good. I'm glad I can stop you.
So with this being presented and done, I'm gonna close 2023
Yep.
and the accounting program.
Yep, go ahead and do
Lock
that.
it and get ready for opening 25.
Yep.
Eddie, did you have any questions on the home for the aged stuff?
Oh, and there was one thing I was going to ask you guys about in the general fund. I think it'd be on page 21 probably, and maybe it's not.
What are you looking for?
Oh, it had to do with the airport. Okay, yeah,
Airport
there it
board.
is, airport board.
Airport personal service,
Yep.
yes, 21.
Yep, so, the 22,500 airport board, that's just the appropriation that you guys do every year to the airport board directly. And I guess there was a question, and I couldn't remember exactly what, because that airport personal services was added into the budget within the last couple or 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what that was added for, I guess.
I think it was for Mike's salary.
Yes.
It was just in case a county employee had to be hired to
Okay.
maintain the.
I knew it had something to do
airport.
with maintaining it
And so
and
that
transition
was
with
built in
that.
there in case that
Yep.
came to pass.
Yep, that's what I was thinking, was something along those lines, and, because Rodney had called me asking about that and thought that that was gonna be paid out to the airport as well, and I was like, I don't think that's the way
No,
it was
no, that's
intended.
for
And
payroll.
I told him, I was like, ultimately, even that appropriation amount, just because it's in the budget, it's still at your guys' discretion, whether or not that gets paid out in full or partial or more or less or anything like that, so.
He means well.
I know, I've known for years.
There probably was a line item in there at one time for Grace Flying then, wasn't there?
I think I think they're paying them out of the appropriation, the
Yeah,
amount they got
were paying them out of the
appropriated.
appropriation because there was the agreement.
Yep, yep,
There was a different setup.
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
It was.
The airport was paying them
Yeah.
directly.
But this person would have been a direct county employee.
Yep, yeah, because I think the reasoning in doing that way was so that way it could run through county payroll, and that way the airport wouldn't have to do payroll themselves too, so.
Yep.
Because back when it was the Grace Flying Service, that was just a contract deal and it wasn't
Yeah.
an employee, so.
Brian, on 33.
Yeah.
Is that all cash carryover? Because it says for the year ended December 31st, 2023, $2,269,807.
Special
Yep,
events.
yep, on the county equipment, sure, yep. Yep, all those bottom numbers, that's in cash, so.
That's the equipment reserve.
Right,
Yep.
that's the equipment, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, for the commissioners, I do have that spreadsheet updated with the correct department totals that gets to that dollar figure.
Okay.
If you want me to print that off and show
That'd be
that.
good. We'll stop by. Willie and I might stop by later.
Okay.
So if we do that, like, we were taking money out of that one fund, I could call it the alcohol fund, which is not, it's Parks and Recreation. Do we need to be budgeting so much out of there?
Yeah,
We're gonna do it every year because it's money collected from the state and we like to put it back into
Yep.
circulation in the county.
Yep, and, yeah, and I'm not sure exactly with the budget. A lot of times on those funds where you're not, because on the tax, the ones where you're setting the tax levy, the higher your budget, the higher your taxes are gonna be. But like on special alcohol and special parks where there's no property tax going to those, it really doesn't make a difference what you set the budget budgeted expenses at necessarily, and so a lot of times what we'll do is just set the expenses kind of at the maximum of what cash you have in that fund, so that way if you do want to spend all the cash in that fund in any given year, you'll have enough budget. I think probably on these, what had happened is been several years where that just kind of laid there and accumulated and nothing been done with it, and so kind of just set a flat budget of, I think it's 4,600, something like that in there, and probably just left it for several years and never went over, so never an issue. But yeah, I think going forward, I'll look at the budget and see where it's at for 25 and make a note on it. If it's lower than, or still kind of low, maybe make a note to bump that up to allow for spending down those funds a little more, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of times counties kind of have struggled to spend some of that money because it's, you know, like parks and stuff like that. A lot of stuff is more cities that maintain them and do a lot of stuff with that. And sometimes counties kind of have problems finding places to spend that. So it's good if you can find places that are allowable to spend that money. And like I said, might as well use it instead of just sitting there. Anything else? Good. I assume Scott didn't print out the letters I sent, or you don't know anything about it, right? Okay, I'll email them to you, and just,
Perfect.
we'll need, one's the letter for Leslie, and then there's just the rep letter that the clerk treasurer
Okay.
and chairman have to sign, so. I'll send those to you, and whenever you get a chance, and just email me, you just give me a copy back or whatever, so.
Okay.
Need a motion for the
I thought I'll
recyclable.
send them to you this week.
We were gonna deal with that later.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not gonna do it.
Yeah, no, because remember they have to figure out the percentages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Roger was saying.
Gotcha.
So yeah, just to say, any questions pop up, be sure and holler and try and answer them. But like I was telling her, got a couple letters we need to get signed to get it finalized that I'm going to send to Sharissa and get it knocked out and get it filed and move on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good holiday.
Yep, you too.
Chris, come on up. Sorry we're running late. Eddie, we'll probably be able to get you in early though.
Eddie likes to be here.
I'm just here to let you guys know about some new programs that we're participating in. Good for the county.
Thank you.
So the Kansas Department of Commerce has started a workforce recruitment program called Love Kansas. And Cheyenne County was accepted into their program. We got a little grant for it. Basically, the concept behind it is we need to invite our young people to move back. So we've been spending a lot of decades telling our kids to go off, go to college, go to the big city and get a big job. But because of that, we are having some workforce shortages, so it's time to tell them, come home. So, but if mom and dad tell them to come home, they're probably not going to. So we're trying to get alumni to invite them back. So that is the concept behind the program. We did have a community meeting last week about it, kind of to get the word out that this would be a good time to tell your friends to come home. So we are participating in that. Back when I was here in June, I let you guys know that we were going to be applying for a grant through the Office of Rural Prosperity to help us with some housing. We were awarded that grant, and we were able to hire a part-time person in our office for 1 year. Her name is Lisa Krull. You might know her as Lisa Kramer. So she'll be in the office half-time or part-time, working on some housing. So we are going to be doing, there's quite a bit of steps in the housing process, but the first part is that we'll be doing what's called a HAT, a housing assessment tool. So we are getting a committee together, and we'll be going out and physically assessing all of the houses. And that will, when we're done with that, is going to tell us, what do we really need? Do we need low income, moderate income? Do we need apartments? You know, what is it that we actually need? We're all kind of guessing at what we think we need, but we're going to figure out what we truly need. And then the other piece of that is starting to figure out which tax incentives and grants are appropriate for our need. Because some are income-based, some are not, but so probably be about a year process, but we are having our first community meeting coming up on November 21st. So flyer here is on that. So if you guys are available and would like to join us, we'll be serving a small meal, but we are going to let the community kind of know what the plan is on housing. So there has been some debate on Facebook a little bit about property tax, but we're going to remind them we're not talking about property taxes, we're talking about housing. So that's all I have for you guys today. So any questions for me? So yeah, so okay. Thank you.
Have a good holiday.
You too. Thanks.
Come on up, Eddie.
Secret. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Yes, the reason I didn't have any questions for Brian, for several years, there was always questions, but the office over there was 3 or 4 years behind, and it was just a madhouse to try to keep up on my end. Gotcha. But Don has that in such fine order now that
no question.
It's a blessing for me.
Yep.
So our census has improved. Earlier we were running 22, 23 at long-term care earlier this summer, and the last 2.5 months it's been running 26 and 7, even up to 28. So that helps our bottom line a lot. And assisted living was down to 5, and it's back up to 7, and so census is what makes cash flow go, and so we're kind of getting back on track there.
Are most of your apartments leased out?
There's a couple apartments available, and
I've seen your sign up there.
yeah. And I talked to you earlier about remodeling some of those, freshening them up when they were vacant. And so we've done that to one, and then there's one that's got somebody living in it that we're doing at the moment, and I thought I would have that. That's been going on for, I don't know, a couple months. I thought it'd be done way before now, but I think James has finished it up yesterday maybe. So anyway, that'll be a discussion for next meeting, I guess, on the snag that developed with that process. So things are looking up on that part as far as the income. We've raised our private pay rate 1st of October. Medicaid was going to raise they did raise it. They raised it from $3.20 to $3.35 a day. And they indicated that we needed to raise our private pay rate to that, or they weren't going to match it. So they kind of put the pressure on us at the state level to raise our private pay. And private pay runs about 46, 48% of the income. Medicaid runs high 40s also. Medicaid runs 10%. That's kind of the breakout of our budget, where the money comes from. So that will help also. But I'm here today to ask for $150,000. We got $125,000 in January, but we're looking to get that $150,000 finish out the year for salaries and everything that needs to happen. So
And that's out of the budget that we normally give you all.
that's how the 6 mil equivalent.
Thank you, Eddie.
Well, thank you for training me.
So we can have some money to transfer.
At the end,
At the
into
end.
capital reserves, yes, because there's about 400,000 total in that 6 mil equivalent for this year. That number varies as we go along, but it's about 400,000, so there'll still be some to transfer. So,
Which is important if we can do it.
oh, we have to, because that's a
Absolutely.
big campus up there to keep up. So we've got to try to keep that reserve, and like Brian said, there's reserve in a lot of
Yeah.
things in the county, which helps because of something. So anyway, so yeah, we've got several things we need to continue to move forward with on our capital improvements, but at the moment, trying to get some of the things finished up that have been on the table for,
14% or
21.
21%.
that's scary.
It's very.
And it's interesting, he smoothed it out a little with the last 10 years, but
Well, they're
that history means nothing,
right.
because we all know
10 years ago, we took a hit, where every hit has been built on that hit, so.
but it's scary what healthcare costs, and on everybody's budget, on individuals and on all groups. And, we're dealing with it on our end up there with our
We're close to
staff.
70,000 a month is our premium.
Yeah. We'll need a motion for that $150,000.
I think they said 120.
150.
150.
We got 125,000 in January.
Yeah.
I'm asking for 150,000 today.
Okay, make a motion that we write the check for 150,000 to the
Home for the Aged.
appropriation.
Okay?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to write a check to Home for the Aged for $150,000. All in favor?
CCCB.
CCB.
CCB,
yeah.
okay,
Please.
CCB for
Otherwise, you're writing it to
150.
yourself.
All in,
Or Eddie
all in
Schultz.
favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yeah. I wondered
Eddie,
if-
when would you like that check?
What works for you? I mean, it doesn't have to be this week.
Okay.
Oh, this week's about shot.
Yeah, I mean, we won't pay again until Thanksgiving,
That's,
but if you need it, I can get it ranged.
I think Thanksgiving would be fine. I want to save my arrangements from you for a real problem.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
I
If
want to be
can-
in this
Well, they're
together.
gonna be in this afternoon.
I want to
so
be a
if I can-
team.
We'll see, but
Okay.
I'll try to get it
Okay,
as I
excellent.
can.
All right, thank you.
I'll let you know, I'll give you a call.
So, that's all I have, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you,
Thank you
Eddie.
for what you're doing, Eddie. Have a good holiday, I'm sure I'll see you.
Okay.
All right, sure.
Okay.
We need to make a motion on transportation.
On the transportation?
Hey, Mike.
Hi, Annie.
Hello.
You want to do that now?
Can we do it later,
Okay.
please?
Yeah.
Okay, can I do my part real quick?
Hang on just a
Yeah.
second. Yeah.
Okay. I am here to ask permission if I can go ahead and start advertising for a deputy clerk starting in 2025.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I thought you had already had it.
No. Okay, And then my other thing is I was informed yesterday of the new clerks meeting, or new clerks school will be held in February, the 12th through the 14th. So I'm requesting your permission to go ahead and get my reservation and stuff for that.
12th through the 14th of February?
Correct.
Yeah.
So, can somebody cover your office for you if you?
Well, hopefully I will have somebody.
If you don't have anybody hired?
Yeah, well, I will figure it out.
You could do that, couldn't you?
Yeah,
Mostly it would be somebody just, and if I don't find someone to hire start of the year, it'll be somebody that can just keep the office, answer the phones and that kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, it's very important that I attend this school. I mean, it's, so
Oh, yeah.
if we want, I would like to get on the right foot and get going.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm for it.
You just need permission from me.
Okay, I'm just making you aware.
Okay.
The other thing is, if you guys are good, I'd like you to look at the 2025 holidays. We've not approved those. I know in the past, you guys have done those in January, which I think is a little rhetorical. I'd like to get them approved so the employees and know what's coming now, if we can.
Well, by approving them in January, you're missing like New Year's and.
Right, and typically we've added that, which I can take it off of this list and we can then go forward. Next year, I'd like to get them approved October, November, so you're actually approving them before they occur. So this is what I have come up with. The one highlighted is the additional Juneteenth day, which I know is questionable, but it is now a state holiday. It's a federal and a state holiday, so therefore the state offices are closed. So Dawn, if she ever has questions or anything like that, she has no resources to reach out to. Banks, post office, all that stuff is closed on federal holidays. So you can review it. We can take off this one since this is the 26th holiday. If you guys are good with approving them now. And if you don't, we can do it in January. I just like to.
When did you have in mind
For what?
to approve these?
Now.
Now?
So they would get the 20th and the 17th off in January?
We've always done those days. The one highlighted is the one addition, but everything else is what we had for 24. In my opinion, it looks bad if you take away holidays once you've already approved them in the past, but
I wish I could have them. I wish I could have those vacation days.
I'm not so much in favor of giving more days, but.
you don't have to.
You don't
I'm
have
just
to.
adding it
Yeah.
because last year the state did approve it, the Juneteenth day. So it was, last year was the first year that it was both a state and a federal holiday, and that's the only reason I added it, because the state did approve it last year.
And they can't ask anybody for anything those days because.
Yeah, I mean, our offices are pretty much,
I understand.
and we're here, and that's it. I mean, we're open for traffic, but if it's questions beyond, we have to put it off to the next day.
But there are a lot of counties that are open on federal holidays.
Oh, yes, I know, and I'm not arguing that they're not.
Yeah, and we give an extra half a day last year. Yes, we did. We took a half a day at the fair. and we
When you
give
moved
them
it to Good Friday.
Good Friday, so we
Right.
gained a half a day.
Okay, and that's fine.